commodities. Manisha joins in, and with her is Ashwin Selvaraj. Manisha.
Well, thank you so much for that. And Ashwin is going to talk a very important topic with us. Ashwin, thank you so much for joining in. Ashwin joins us from RSPO, by the way. And Ashwin, more and more markets and more countries and more sectors are now talking about the European Union Deforestation Agreement that comes into effect from 1st of January 2026, unless there is another extension, really. But how would you look at the overall compliance that we see coming in from various countries?
First of all, thank you so much for having us, Manisha. It's a fantastic opportunity. The European Union Deforestation Regulation is coming into effect, as you said, end of the year. And the regulations apply across several commodities, including coffee, cocoa, palm oil, wood, cattle, and others. If you look at the compliance readiness, I think the palm sector is is actually a better placed compared to a lot of the other commodities, because there's been a lot of awareness and work being done in the palm oil sector over the years on deforestation. So the level, and as an organization, we've also been working with a lot of the producers in Malaysia, Indonesia, and Latin America and Africa to address the issues around deforestation, which has built up the level of readiness of a lot of these players to be compliant to the European Union deforestation regulations. One of the key elements of the EUDR is the requirement on capturing the geolocation of the farm where the palm oil is produced. And traceability systems have evolved across many geographies, and we've also been providing traceability services to our members globally. Mm-hmm. And the information is more or less available across many geographies. And if you look at India in particular, the Indian palm oil production is actually much better placed than most of the other palm producing regions, primarily because our market is highly regulated. We are converting agricultural lands. The risk is low. And the penetration of digital technology in India is quite high. So you see a lot of the farm plots are already mapped, and the mills who work with the farmers to process the fruits already have this information. So we are actually at a much better level of compliance for EUDR.
I also wanted to understand, Ashwin, I mean, there's one part that is about farmers, and as you said, the tech penetration is quite strong, better regulation, and geolocation sharing is also something that many sectors now seem to be doing that. But when it comes to companies, how has that number been? Do you see them compliant ready as well? And the other point really is about products, snacks, etc., where you have all of these usage of many of these products. Is that back-end and front-end compliance also in place?
Sure. I mean, if you look at the production of palm oil globally, almost 25% of the global production is certified according to the RSPO standards. And the deforestation and the capture of geolocation is already inbuilt into our standards. So in terms of compliance readiness of the production side, definitely, I think it's quite high. And if you look at the downstream, almost 10 million tons of palm oil is actually bought under certification globally across different markets. And many companies downstream have also built their own traceability mechanisms to capture this kind of information. So if you look at the products and the scope of EUDR, the snacks and the namkeen and all of that, I mean, those are not in scope for the EUDR. So what is applicable is really, what is in scope is really crude palm oil, refined palm oil, fractions, and some oleochemical derivatives. So I think the readiness of the industry, downstream industry, is also quite high, because if you look at the European market, they buy anywhere between 2 to 3 million tons of palm, if you exclude biofuels. And a significant portion of that palm oil is already bought according to the RSPO certified EU deforestation-free supply chains. So the information is there. So what needs to happen in the downstream industry is to actually compile this information and share it with the competent authorities in the European market. So the digital systems, the traceability systems, the readiness of the downstream market in Europe is quite high.
You said the Indian market's numbers also seem quite on the higher side. The compliance readiness here also is quite positive. I mean, we have huge, big companies, listed companies here as well. Would you say that they are all, one, buying certified palm, and the other is, are they absolutely compliant when it also comes to exporting palm-based products to European Union?
Yeah. So if you look at the certification part, I mean, it's important to understand that certification is a tool to establish compliance. So by being certified doesn't mean necessarily you're compliant to UDR. It makes you compliant and it gives you the information that the UDR systems require. So if you're looking at the Indian downstream industry, a lot of them are the listed companies are reporting into the BRSR regulations. So there's also already a lot of awareness about ESG, and a lot of these companies are already procuring certified raw materials. So if you look at the imports that's coming into India, I think close to about 400,000 metric tons of palm oil that's bought into India is coming in as RSPO certified. We think this is just based on voluntary declarations, and we think the number is slightly higher than that. So the Indian industry is also pretty much ready in terms of compliance. And if you look at the exports, the export of palm-based materials is going out of India. So I think on an annual basis, based on a study we did, anywhere around $200 million is the worth of exports that we see going out of India, 200,000. And this is only expected to increase or double in the next 3 to 5 years, is based on our prediction. So currently what we see is that the products that we are exporting is not directly in scope of EUDR, because I said a lot of the finished goods are not in scope. But a little bit of the oleochemicals that are being exported, I think the companies are already working on compiling that information. And we are also working with a lot of our members to help them capture this information from the origin. So we've built a whole traceability platform that facilitates the availability of this information to export companies that are looking at exporting palm-based products out of India.
Okay, thank you so much, Ashwin, for joining us, and thank you so much, Manisha, for joining us and giving us a sense of what exactly is transpiring as far as the world of commodities is concerned. Well, we'll now slip into a short break. Once we get back, we will get chatting with Vikrant Shotria, Managing Director and Corporate Vice President, Novo Nordisk, to discuss the upcoming launch that the company is planning.